Yo, it's your boy Logos, and today I want to react to this protest from California parents because their local school board is changing the curriculum to be more sexualized and pro LGBTQ. And my understanding, they might even be trying to change the month to be officially Pride Month. In my opinion, I think this whole thing is sick. These people that are going into these schools pushing the politics and sexuality on kids are sick. Drag queens in elementary schools or any schools is sick. You don't need to push your identity or whatever you think you are, or whatever thing or person you're attracted to on children. I really don't understand why this stuff is necessary for them unless you're trying to groom them or indoctrinate them. I'm not for bullying anybody because they're gay or this that, and the other. But at the same time, I'm not ever going to support a teacher, a counselor, principal, or anybody trying to get in the kid's head and say that you're a different gender or you're attracted to this and you should ignore your parents, hide stuff from your parents, talk to me, and maybe even the state getting into these homes and taking kids away because they don't want to change their gender. If they're not old enough to drink, smoke, go to war, then how are they old enough to change their gender permanently? Take hormones and do all this life-changing surgery, mutilate themselves. It's sick. And any person that supports it is sick in that they're just sick in the head too. I'm just gonna be honest with you. You're a grown adult, you can do what you want as long as I don't gotta pay for it or the government don't gotta pay for it. I don't give a damn. But having underage kids where they're not even mentally developed yet, come on. And then there's already people that have done this stuff like surgery and hormones who regret it. But you want to tell a 6-year old, 8-year old, 12-year old, 13-year old who is so heavily influenced by social media, TikTok, Twitter, and all their other dumbass friends to do something that's permanent? Like, get a grip. This is stupid. I think most people who are 22, 23, 24, and up would say they're 20 times smarter than they was at 8 years old, 14 years old, or even 16 years old. So to do something so permanent and life changing to yourself, I don't get it. And anybody that supports it, I don't stand with you, and I don't fuck with you, to be honest. But let's watch this clip because I want to see these parents fight back.
We begin with the violent protests outside a school board meeting in Glendale, California, when masked activists clashed with parents opposed to how the district is teaching gender and sexuality. Hold up. Whoa. Now, the school board meeting was about making June Pride Month, which board members unanimously approved late in the evening. And as the brawl unraveled, several parents raised concerns about the school's transgender policies and that their children were being introduced to subject matters that they simply were not ready for.
They need to stop asking little children what they sexually identify as.
That's creepy.
Children are not sexual beings, nor should they be. The sexualization of children is pedophilia. Nothing more, nothing less.
And I love that she said that because I remember a few years ago, crazy enough, it was Alex Jones. He was saying that, get ready, they're going to eventually push to have it be LGBTQ XYZWHP, and then the P going to be, pedo. And I'm not saying, of course, not everybody that is part of this community is a pedo, but the people that push this whole sexualizing of children, yeah, you damn near that. Like, at this point, how you don't have a red dot on your house? Because you're literally seeking out kids and try to talk to them about what they sexually identify as. Like, seriously, like, how is that not grooming? How is it not creepy or weird? Heterosexual, homosexual, whatever. It just keep them out of it.
I think it's really important to be here to stand up for all children and not be exclusive. We are an inclusive community.
Oh, God, there goes
I'm
that
a
word.
Christian. I go to an inclusive church.
What's that mean?
I believe in God, and God loves all.
I'm completely against the law that they're trying to pass to teach little kids in the school, 6 years old, to decide about sexual things. They don't even know what's going on.
Oh my gosh.
Teaching a 6-year-old about sexuality, I mean, this should be common sense. But if you feel similar to those parents and you want to say in your child's education, you might get put on a hate group list. The far-left Southern Poverty Law Center has added
What?
multiple parents' rights organizations, labeling them as hate and anti-government groups akin to neo-Nazis and the Ku Klux Klan, including Moms of Liberty. The SPLC's statement on the designation reads, quote, "At the forefront of this mobilization is Moms for Liberty, a Florida-based group with vast connections to the GOP that this year the SPLC designated as an extremist group. They can be spotted at school board meetings across the country wearing shirts and carrying signs that declare, 'We do not co-parent with the government.'"
Is extremist the new Nazi word, or is that just, they came about the same time? Because if you're really trying to put this group of people who just doesn't want to have the government in their homes influencing their children, something very, very basic, and they're somehow an extremist group akin to the Ku Klux Klan, are you serious right now? And these are the same people that will say they're the more high ground, they're their authority, we're just protecting people. But you put these people, the Moms of Liberty, for Liberty, akin to people that has, hung people, extremist group that blow people up. Like, it's a joke.
The group hijacks meetings, preventing officials and parents from conducting.
Oh, hell no. Liberals hijack meetings all the time. I can't tell you how many clips and videos I've seen of young liberals, especially college students, jumping in during middle of meetings. It could be school board, it could be mayor, it could be anything at all. And they're talking about this stuff, to be honest, abortion, LGBTQ, trans, all that type of stuff, and they seen as angels or liberators or freedom fighters or going against the system. But somehow Moms for Liberty is a hate group for doing the exact same thing. It shows you where their leanings lie. It's not about protecting anybody outside the people that they deem as, righteous, or ones that have money in their pockets.
Their normal proceedings. We'll get to that hogwash in just a moment, Kennedy. But let's start with Glendale, California. This meeting was about making LGBT month something in the school, but it was about much more than that, as the parents noted. One parent said, "My daughter is afraid to change in the locker room because she knows another guy could come into the room. When I asked the principal, he told me there were no cross-gender bathroom policies." Another Daily Signal excerpt on this. Additional documents revealed that Glendale staff have attempted to incorporate LGBTQ plus materials and ideology into curriculum. One assistant principal even told staff to teach children that every person is by default queer and socialist. This is about more than...
So they just said it out in the open, huh? Queer and socialist. The queer part at this point, like, somehow that's minute. Socialist? They tell you right there who they are, what they're about, and it's about bringing down a system they believe is tyrannical, patriarchal, chaotic, even though they want anarchy and chaos, but just evil. Socialist. Every person by default is socialist. The assistant principal. I want to know who the assistant principal is and how old they are. I'm really curious to see their age. Socialist. Because they're either the age of somebody that graduated within the past 10 years, or the age of a professor that's teaching the same BS. Either way, it sounds like that postmodern BS that Jordan Peterson talk about often.
In a month. It's about parents' rights.
I think they need to read some Adam Smith, and they'll know that by default, according to natural law, we're actually natural capitalists. And every society that has existed in history has bared that out. This is a very convenient shield for them, because if they are engaged in this front of the culture war, they don't have to worry about math and reading tests. And I will tell you, you're a parent, kids talk about a lot of stuff. There are trends in behavior and attitudes, and there are stupid challenges on TikTok. They also talk a lot about gender identity. They don't talk about algebra, oddly enough. They don't talk about reading and learning different languages on TikTok. That's what school is for. And that's what a lot of these parents want, especially in Glendale, which has a large Hispanic community and a large Armenian population, which tend to be more conservative. This entire argument.
Remember that when they always talk about conservative people are right and racist. Remember, politics and people's belief is much more flexible and much more nuanced than just the color of their skin and how much money they have or where they're from or whether or not you have a grudge because, I don't know, you want to be a victim. Just think about it. Armenian brown-skinned people. Like, come on, it's not just white people that have a problem with this stuff. They can't just say it's just racist, right-wingers that are hateful. No, this is just people with common sense. Give me a break.
Argument is just a massive reason why we have to have school choice in this country. That is not an extremist point of view. That is completely pragmatic, and it serves kids of every background in every neighborhood, in every state, in every family.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned every background because, Kim, one thing that stuck out to me at this California protest, you had Armenians and you had Latinos.
Right.
There was another protest in Rockville, Maryland, parents standing up for their kids. And in that community, it was Muslims and Christians who came together. So this spans people of very different ideologies.
Exactly.
And just say, we're parents, please don't ask our 6-year-olds about sex.
Absolutely.
Oh
and you know, I was thinking when I was growing up, they had the Pledge of Allegiance, like I'm in 3rd grade, Pledge of Allegiance, and then we said prayers in school, and then all of a sudden there was a group that was like, no, I'm offended by that. We don't want that. We don't want prayers. We don't want Pledge of Allegiance. I go into 4th grade, it's gone. Why is this different? Why is it different?
That's true.
And we're labeled a hate group if you just want to be informed. And you may say, I don't want this for my child. You can't dictate my child what I can have him or her exposed to.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Emily, and on to Moms for Liberty. This is a very mainstream group. I believe we have some pictures of them that we can put up. I mean, these are suburban moms that you would just see at any school board meeting, not domestic terrorists, as you know, some have suggested. But the Wall Street Journal, conveniently, they put out this piece profiling this group. Here's what it was titled: DeSantis, Trump, and other 2024 GOP campaigns take notice of Moms for Liberty. Members are shaping a new Republican Party platform on education. They call them the loudest voice advocating for this, 100,000 moms who have come together. So there's this big profile on this group, right? And then bam, we're going to hit them with a hate group label. SPLC USA Today writes, parents' rights group labeled extremists. So is there a coincidence here, this powerful group of moms coming together, and then boom, you're a hate group?
Of course.
Whatever happened to, you know, liberated women, wanting women to be strong and use their voice and to speak out and to just not take it? But 100,000 women say they don't support their children being groomed by borderline pedophiles, honestly, or pedophiles in of itself, and they're a hate group. It tells you they don't care about empowerment. They don't care about people, I don't know, rising up or doing anything to progress or do better. Not truly. It's all about control. That's all it is. Getting people against each other for different reasons. But oftentimes when you boil it down, people are more sensical than you think. Most of us want the same thing: a nice, easy, peaceful life that we can pass on to our children, and our children can have a nice, easy life too. And I don't think being groomed and being, I don't know, taught about your sexuality, you're supposed to be educated, is the right thing to do.
Like clockwork. What is so absolutely disturbing and patently unacceptable, though, let's take a step back and look at this through not the lens of 2023, where absolute idiocy has been normalized, but in terms of actual rational thought. Mothers and parents are being likened formally to the Ku Klux Klan for holding a sign that says, I don't want to co-parent with the government.
Right.
What's the difference between that and U.S. out of my uterus? But essentially, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's an okay sign for me to hold outside of a school. But if I stand outside of a school and say, this is my child, I will raise them how I want, this is inappropriate subject matter, I get put on the same platform and then amplified throughout mainstream media as a lynching, cross-burning, terrible terrorist organization like the Ku Klux Klan. And we're supposed to just accept it? We're supposed to eat it and say, oh, the Southern Poverty Law Center said it, so it must be true? That is horrific. That is absolutely unacceptable. And you know what else is unacceptable? Is those parents there who, rightly so, Mr. Kinnett, who you read earlier, that said those fake people, he said, pointing to the Antifa with the masks, he said they're going to be gone in an hour. But you...
Is Antifa a hate group, an extremist group? The last time I checked, they were still, you know, just a calm, peaceful, anti-fascist, you know, anti-Hitler Because Hitler came back 8 years ago, or whenever Trump went into office. He came back from the dead when he, took up election. But some Moms of Liberty is an extremist group akin to the Ku Klux Klan, Al Qaeda, ISIS, and anybody else that want to blow people up for having a different opinion. This is what we live in.
School board members, you will remain, and therefore I will vote you out. He was a graduate of that same school in '96. That's our generation. That's 5 seconds ago. How quickly it has devolved to see what we watched there, which was an elderly woman. You saw her with a bun. She was on her knees, getting up from having been thrown to the floor, and we watched a young Antifa person run over and push her before the cop got to her. That is appalling. That is 2023. That is Biden's America. Do not stand for them, and do not let this bullying, this characterization take root. These are not terrorists. These are parents.
Yeah, well said.
Yes,
Absolutely. Well. Amen to that.
Yeah.
Dr. Siegel, there was a really scary moment that was played out on MSNBC. This is an ex-FBI agent. Listen to what the ex-FBI agent had to say.
Kudos to the SPLC for an extremely comprehensive, well-written, well-packaged report. I recommend everybody reading this who wants to just become more familiar with what's happening all around us now. Because the overall takeaway is that hate is becoming more entrenched. They have gone local. Hate has gone local. I harken back to decades ago when the FBI and the DOJ really aggressively targeted and successfully went after criminally the KKK. And what happened there was they took off their hoods and their sheets and they put on suits and ties. And they went local. And they ran for office. So this isn't the first time we've seen this going local mainstreaming of hatred. We've seen it before, and we see it now.
And Dr. Siegel.
These moms, or these dads out there too, not saying that LGBTQ people should burn or whatever. They're just saying, stay away from my children. That's perfectly fine.
We don't have to harken back to a day. The FBI, the DOJ, I should say, puts out a memo analogizing parents to domestic extremists based on a letter that did that and saying, like, FBI, look into these guys committing criminal acts potentially.
It's shocking. First of all, the headline is buried here, which is that the Glendale school was about to approve Pride Month. Okay, we'll do it. We're commemorating that from 1969, from the riots. It has nothing to do with the indoctrination that's going on in these schools. As Kennedy brought up Adam Smith, how about the fact that school's supposed to be about learning different points of view and figuring out for yourself? And how about the Bible, which says that parents hand off their children's education to schools? They're representative. How are parents suddenly criminals? They're supposed to be there to help. Not, if anything, the co-partner in this is the parent. And children, last point, children should not be sexualized at young ages. We teach health in 5th grade, not 1st grade. And being exposed in live time to another gender in a bathroom is deeply scarring to a child.
Yeah. No doubt about it. Scary stuff, scary times for being a parent, because you're apparently like the KKK, according to an ex-FBI official. Let that sink in.
Are you surprised? Honestly, I would put $1,000 on MSNB just finding this guy, and they chose him exactly because he said the stuff that they wanted him to say. But it's alarming too that they wanted him to say these things. No matter how you look at it, it is a dark time because the government is now trying to dictate sexuality and gender to children. Like, come on, like, the government is supposed to represent the people, and the people are clearly not for this. Just because you have a loud minority doesn't mean you should just go along and do everything for the sake of that loud minority. It doesn't make any sense, especially the thing that they're asking for is so sick and illogical to begin with. I just don't agree with it. I don't stand by it, and I can't wait till this guy Biden gets out. But who knows who's gonna get in this place to take up for him? Trump, who knows how this indictment gonna go for him? I don't want Kamala. Like, honestly, I'm surprised Joe Biden is still going this long. He got brain surgery, from my understanding, like, what, a few years ago, 10 years ago? Either way, he shouldn't be in office. But he was a good plant to keep pushing the BS and to keep having people doing insider trading, get us into another war or a proxy war, and feed the industrial complex. And he's not going to do anything to say this stuff is bad, call it the SPLC, or even, I don't know, make a federal law. to make sure that kids aren't getting sexualized. You're supposed to represent the people, but they don't care about the people. They care about this ideology. And it's clear to me that it's postmodernism. She said people are born socialists and queer. Like, come on, queer and socialist. As much as they don't want other people to define their gender or who they are, they love to define for everybody else. You're this, you're that. You don't know who you are because you haven't known your options. Even though you can't count to 100 yet because you're only 5 years old. These people are sick in the head. And they're trying to pass on this sickness to other people. So they can, I don't know, trauma bond and the whole circle of sickness and mental health and insanity. Either I'm not going to defend them or support them. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's your boy Logos, and I'll see you next time. Peace.